Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And I have finally picked up the Black, the legendary USS Black, the premium Fletcher with a radar. And good lord, this ship is crazy. And this is the nerfed version of her. Um, which is crazy saying that with the games that I've just had in this ship. Now, if you're wondering, is this thing worth the coal? Absolutely. This is mental that you can get a ship this good for coal for free. Now, she is a bit costly. She is, I think, 295,000 coal. She's roughly the same as the Nushishimi, sorry, 296,000. So, in fact, exactly the same as the Nushishimi, which is a very, very high price for a coal ship. But again, consider that this is a premium ship that you can get completely for free. That's a pretty darn good deal. And if you're wondering if it's good at making credits, it is. The match you're watching in the background, I actually forgot to put any of the economic boosters or bonuses, whatever you want to call them, on the ship. And you'll see how much darn money I still made with this ship, with no boosters except for the base bonus package that it comes with because it is a premium ship. So, yeah, the ship is great. Worth the coal out of the gate. And why is she worth the coal, and how do you play her? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let's go ahead and dive right on into the ship. But first, a little background with me and destroyers, particularly American destroyers. If you guys have been watching the channel for quite some time, you guys know that I'm not really a DD player. I'm more of a battleship, cruiser, gunboat DD player. And by gunboat, I mean run and gun boats, like the Khabarovsk and the Kleber. Those types of DDs are more my cup of tea, and I enjoy playing those a lot more. I don't really have too much experience with American destroyers. I've only really played a lot of the Kid and, to a lesser extent, the Forrest Sherman. So, now the Kid is a Fletcher, and the Black is a Fletcher. Kid's a down-tiered Fletcher that got one of his torpedo tubes ripped off, and the other one replaced with the Benson torpedoes, not the Fletcher torpedoes that is the torpedoes that the Black does get. So, kind of the same deal there, but it plays a little bit differently. But I went ahead and I played the Black here like I played the Kid today, which is as a cap contesting DD. And the Black is very, very good at that. So that's my background with DDs and why I'm playing it like you see me playing it on screen. It's also why I use the commander build that that I'm using along with the module build that I'm using, which you could definitely tweak up to have a better performing Black here. But even with probably the wrong commander build and with the wrong module build, you can still see how well this ship performs. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the Black herself. Now, the Black is a, again, tier 9 Fletcher. It is the Fletcher at her home tier, with the main thing being that she has a radar instead of, well, nothing there. She has a radar and smokescreen. That is her main gimmick. And good lord, it is quite a wombo combo to have a destroyer with radar and smoke. It is the funniest thing in the world to go into a cap with this destroyer and do this. And you have no idea how good that felt flexing on the Forrest Shermans. It's quite funny because Forrest Sherman players are so used to sitting in the smoke and basically being able to bully everything out of existence. And when you pull that Uno reverse card out on them, wow, it is truly something. So yeah, that's her main shtick, and it's a good shtick. It's a very good shtick to have in a cap contesting DD. Now, going on to the ship herself, her stats and such. So, she's a Fletcher. It is a DD, so she's covered 19 millimeters of armor. If you're wondering about her armor scheme, I mean, there should be no big surprise there to anyone that's, well, even looked at a DD's armor scheme beforehand. Survivability again with Halsey on her and me running. Am I running Survivability Expert? I am running Survivability Expert. Very good. I am having 20,250 HP on the Black. So a pretty healthy DD there. Her gun, she has the good old American 127s. They reload with, again, with the build that I'm running on her, which is the reload module. And again, same build I'm running on the Kid. 2.8 second reload time on 5 127mm American 5-inch guns. The turret's 180 and 6.1 seconds. They have a maximum dispersion of 104 meters, and they have a maximum range of 12.9 kilometers. And the range might sound a little short, but considering, again, if you're playing this like a cap contesting DD, first off, that's more than enough range to just, again, cover a cap and force the enemy DDs out of the cap. And two, even at 12.9 kilometers, again, this is American DDHE. It's American shells. They have the, suborbital shell arcs and the HE. Well, not just HE, but the shells in general. The air drag is terrible. So even at 12.9 kilometers away, you can see that the shells stay in the air for all eternity, and it's very difficult. It starts to get very difficult to aim past 12.9 kilometers, even at something like a battleship. Unless they're coming straight into you or going very slowly, it's going to be a bit of a hassle. You have to lead them so far, and of course, you're trying to predict how the ship is going to maneuver and such, because you got to, again, lead it by that much. You can see later on, I'm still not quite used to this, so there's quite a few shots that I do miss, but thankfully, thanks to the reload time, I mean, again, 2.8 seconds. That's pretty fast for these guns. Well, it was very fast when the ship was introduced, but of course we have crazier DDs with quicker reloads now. But again, the shells are very good. The range, don't really need much more range than that, because you're not going to be able to hit anything at that range. So, yeah, very sweet set of guns here. And the HE has a maximum damage of 1800. You have a 7% chance of causing a fire on the target with the build and the flags that I am running. You have 21mm of HE pin. You can put IFHE on that, but you won't cross 32mm, unfortunately. So I opted to go with just, kind of hoping for the fire chance to do that for me, and it is more than enough to deal with, again, DDs at tier 9 and tier 10, so that's what you're mainly going to be fighting in the ship anyway, so it does its job there. 792 meters a second initial velocity. AP comes with the tubes at 2100. I'm sorry, I wish it came with the tubes at 2100 meters a second, that'd be crazy. Does the maximum damage of 2100, and they come with the tubes at 792 meters a second. AP is pretty useful if you are at close range and battleship or a cruiser decides to give you broadside, and you can, pump a couple of rounds of HE into their broadside. Of course, you won't be citadeling them, but you will be doing more alpha damage than HE, obviously. So in those situations, at closer range, that can work pretty well. But again, it's not like super crazy AP like the German DDs or anything like that. Torpedoes, you get the actual Fletcher torps here. 2x5, 533mm torps. They have a 13.7 kilometer range. They travel at 43 knots. They reload in 96 seconds, which is very nice. They do a maximum damage of 21,600, and they are detected from 0.9 kilometers away. So you have some pretty nice, not super fast reloading torps, but you won't be waiting around for 2 minutes like, of course, the Japanese DD torps. So pretty nice set of torps here, 30.7 kilometer range, lots of range for you. Again, I'm not too much of a torpedo boat guy, but I was able to get quite a few hits off with these torpedoes, and again, that's always welcome damage, of course. But again, great for dealing with caps, definitely long enough to go through a cap and discourage anyone from going in, and normally other DDs that smoke up are inside your torpedo range too, so it's nice to throw those at the torps, throw those at the smoke screens, and discourage those DDs from sitting there. You do get depth charges rather than the ASW planes. They do a maximum damage of 5,100. You get 2 charges, 10 bombs in a charge, and they reload in 40 seconds. I didn't run across any submarines while I was playing this ship, but yeah. AA is quite low, 58 AA rating. Not the Kid, definitely not. Again, Kid is this, but with more AA. You're not an AA boat. I left my AA turned off most of the time anyway, out of habit, so yeah. Maneuverability, she's a little slow at 36.8 knots. That's with the speed flag. You have a turning circle radius of 560 meters. The rush time of 3 seconds. Concealment is very nice, down to 5.8 with the module and the commander skill. So you're pretty darn stealthy DD. As far as consumable goes, you have a radar, which, why would you pick DFA or engine boost? I don't know. The whole point of this thing is you have a radar in that slot, but if you want to, for some reason, swap it out for DFA or engine boost, you can. The radar range is 7.5 kilometers, active for 19 seconds. You have a reload time of 114 seconds. You get 4 charges of that with the superintendent skill. You get the good old American smokescreen that is active for 34.5 seconds and takes 127 seconds to disperse, and reloads in 152 seconds. And of course, you get damage coming on top of that. 5-second action time and reloads in 38 seconds. Alright, so the Black, if I haven't gushed about this ship enough. Of course, the combination of smoke and radar is amazing to have on a DD. It's only active for 19 seconds, and that's with my current build on it, which I don't have the module on, which you could throw on there to get the time up even more. And then of course you have the commander skill too. So if you want to throw the module on there, which I would definitely recommend, that boosts your runtime up by 20 seconds. And then if you take the commander skill, that boosted up by another 10%. I'm sorry, 20% on the module and 10% on the commander skill, not seconds. So you can have a fairly long duration radar with the Black here, which is pretty crazy. Even with the 19-second duration that I was running with for the matches that I played for the ship, that was more than enough time to normally either A, completely murder the DD that was in the cap with me, or B, strongly encourage them to just never come back, because by the time they had managed to either get out of my radar range or my radar ran out, their HP was already annihilated. So this is one of the absolute best cap contesting DDs in the game. If you're wondering how they nerfed her base radar time. It was up to, I think, 25 seconds, and then they nerfed it down to 19 seconds, and that's why she was removed, because she was so good at, well, murdering DDs in cap. Now, if you play the ship like she's meant to be played, a cap contested DD, you probably won't be topping the leaderboards in terms of damage very often, because you'll be murdering other DDs, but like we talked about in yesterday's video, the game rewards you for the percentage of damage done to the ship's total HP pool. So if you sink 1 or 2 DDs, that's the same as sinking an entire GK's HP pool. It doesn't matter. So you still get rewarded as such, but again, if you're a fan of big damage numbers, you may not see those. Unless you get a match like what you're seeing here, where the match went for quite some time. I was able to get into a good position to do some damage to the rest of the enemy team's ships that were still up later on in the match. But if you're an American DD player, this ship is probably going to be super comfy for you, because again, it's just a Fletcher with radar and smoke. Like, or more aptly, just a Fletcher with a radar welded onto it. But it's a fantastic boat, one that is, again, I highly recommend, and it's definitely worth the coal that you got to pay for it. It is a pricey one, so do keep that in mind, but she's great. And again, even here with a suboptimal commander and module build on it, I was able to do great things in this ship. And again, this is me playing the ship. I'm not a American DD main. I'm, again, mostly a run and gunboat DD main, and I was still getting used to the shots in this round. Not the shots, the dispersion this round, as you can tell, because of the arcs, you have to aim up quite a bit higher than you normally would in other DDs. And yeah, and I was still able to pull off matches like this in this ship. This ship's great. Highly recommend it. It's a free ship for coal, and I'm glad they've managed to introduce her back in. The ship is fantastic, and one, again, I highly recommend you guys pick up. If you are a destroyer player or someone that likes playing DDs, it is a very good choice. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Black in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 40,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday and a wonderful week. I'll see you guys on stream tonight, because I am streaming tonight on Twitch and on YouTube from 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time through around 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time, maybe a little bit later. So come check out the stream tonight, again, on Twitch or on YouTube. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday and wonderful week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.